Hey, this is Crystal. You can call me Sherpa, and I'm so glad that you are here. Listen, what I want to talk today about are 3 things everyone ought to know about feeling angry and the sliding scale of control. What am I talking about? I noticed, I have sensed in the past several days that there is like a shortened fuse. Like a lot of people have shortened fuses. And what I mean by that is it seems like things that are small are generating a bigger, more angry response. And I started reflecting on that a little bit, and I was like, why is that? I mean, I understand that things are going on, of course, but what is it about that makes people have a response of anger specifically is what I was thinking about. And it occurred to me that there's like this sliding scale of control. The only reason, in my mind, this is my opinion, is the only reason that people are really get angry about anything is because they feel that they lost some control. And in essence, it's really just people aren't doing what you expected they should do. At the end of the day, it's a sliding scale. On one end of the scale might be disappointment, despair, frustration, depression, whoever, and then all the way down to anger, because it's just a matter of degree. So I think what has happened is that people started, when you were pre-COVID, you would go into your job and you could deal with certain things, and you'd have on your little, your corporate face, and you would deal with stuff and you would just stuff it, or you'd be like, you know what, I don't have to be bothered with that. I'll just leave it. And I think that now people are more like, you're working at home, you're working closer to your family and things like that. And so I think that has caused more of a sense of a lack of control. And so the 3 things I wanted to share about, or kind of reflections about that, are the first thing is that when people around you don't behave the way you want them to behave, they don't do what you want them to do, that causes you to be angry. But here's the thing. No matter what anyone says, you can always change your situation. You really can. I know a ton of people will disagree with that. They'll say, well, you know what? No, I'm married. I can't change the situation. No, I need this job. I can't change the situation. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, you can. And in fact, I think that the longer that you stay in a situation that you know is not serving you, the harder it is to leave it, and the more damaging it is. I'll give you a perfect example. So I have worked a corporate America job for a really long time, like 15, 20 years, right? And I always had like kind of an entrepreneurial energy like that I really wanted to do, but I never felt I could leave because I was a primary wage earner in my family, and I knew that the other income sources in my household were not super stable. So I felt like I couldn't leave. And so what happened in that process is, to me, I'm gonna just talk about my personal experience. The first thing I felt was a lower self-esteem, because I allowed myself to stay in a situation where I didn't feel like I was being appreciated, or that I didn't feel like I was valued. And the longer you let yourself sit in a situation where you don't feel valued and you don't feel challenged and you don't feel appreciated, the more of a tug that will take on your self-esteem, and the harder it will be for you to do anything else, because you don't feel like you are worth it, or you don't feel like you deserve it. And so it would have been better as soon as I had an inkling to say, you know what, I'm out of here. I should have just left. And a lot of people will not change, will not make a change, because you're afraid of what's on the other side. And what you don't realize is the damage that's being done to you staying where you are. I mean, as I reflected on it, so after the self-esteem, then there's like this, it's almost like you're in this quicksand. It's like a lethargy, like everything starts moving slower. So even though I always had like this entrepreneurial bug, and I always wanted to do something more, and I always had like, something on the side that I was working on, the energy of being in that space where you didn't feel like you are really operating in your optimal level of creativity, the longer you're in that, the slower and the harder it is to get out and be in who you are. Now, some people can pull it off. Some people can work a full-time job and work their little side gig and work their way right out. And I think it depends on the momentum that you have when you go in, and also whatever your clear purpose is. And I didn't have a clear purpose. I didn't have a clear thing that I was going for. I just knew I wanted to be somewhere else, right? So because I didn't have that clarity, I didn't have anything to really like yank me out of that. And so it was like this quicksand that was just, I'm trying to climb out of it, but I can't. It's like I'm reaching up to get out, but I can't get out. I mean, it was just, I was reflecting on this today. And I'm like, wow, that's really what it's like. It's like quicksand. So I would encourage you to, if you're a person who is in a situation where you just feel like things aren't going the way you want them to go, people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing according to you, then get out. Get out. While you have the drive, while you have the energy, while you have the focus to do something else that you want to do. I'm not saying quit your gig because, you got to do what you got to do. Everyone has to earn income. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying as quickly as you can clarify what you want, clarify it and get out. And that'll solve your problem, because as soon as I got laid off, I mean, it still takes energy to get momentum. Like, I thought that when I got laid off, I would like right away just, I would have this, all this progress and everything. But I didn't, because the momentum, it's like you need the momentum to push you up, and I still didn't have full clarity. So it's really, really super important to get clear on what you want. But the reality is you can change it. So don't allow yourself to tell yourself that BS about you can't change the situation, because for every excuse that I had, there was an answer if I was willing to accept it. So that's just my story. I don't know if it helps you or not. The second thing is that reason why people feel angry is because they have a feeling of a loss of control. So people now, I think, with different things that are going on with the pandemic, if you watch the news and you consume that on a regular basis, it's gonna, you can't help but feel like, oh my gosh, I have no control over this situation. I have nothing I can do. And so when you feel like that, yes, you're gonna be angry. You'll eventually, on that scale of control, you'll be angry. But there are things that you can do, and you can look at your life and identify and get some clarity about what you'd really love to do, and focus on that just a little bit at a time. Just do one thing a day, and you'll be surprised how it will lift you up, and you will not be feeling as angry, because then you're doing something to move you into another direction. You might not even, if you don't have the clarity, it doesn't mean don't stop moving. I didn't have the clarity, but as long as you keep moving forward, you're going to eventually find yourself on the path where you need to be. But if you just sit there because you feel like you have to, or because you feel like you don't have any choices, then you're not going to be happy. You will be angry. Your fuse will be shorter, and you're probably going to wind up with some health issues that you wouldn't have had you just allowed yourself to be free and to pursue your creative outlets and the things that really are best for you. And then the third area was that when you feel all hope is lost, like, so I talked to a couple people. Sometimes I talk to people and I just get this sense like, you kind of just throw up your hands. Like, religion has a really good catch for you where you can just throw up your hands and be like, oh, God is going to take care of it all. And that is one of the fundamental challenges that I have with religion, is that it gives you like this, it lets you absolve yourself of any responsibility. When things aren't going well for you, or things aren't going the way that you want them to go, then you just go, oh, God's got it. God's going to cover it all. God's going to do it. And then you do nothing. Or you stop thinking about things that you could do, because you're just like, oh, okay, God's got it. But there's never a loss of, it's never hopeless. There's never a point that you will get to where you're like, oh, there's nothing I can do. There are infinite number of potential answers if you allow yourself to relax and just think about different alternatives. And so it's never hopeless. It's never where all hope is lost. So that would be my encouragement for this one. reason why people get angry is just to know that there's always an answer and there's always a way. And you don't have to just throw up your hands and just sit and wait for something to come out of the sky to help you. You can come up with that creative energy yourself. So that's what I wanted to share today. And I'm going through a little transformation myself. Did you peek my eyebrows? Yeah, I have microblading. That's what I originally was going to do my Facebook Live on, but maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So anyway, the point is that you don't have to be angry. You don't have to feel out of control, and you don't have to feel powerless or hopeless, because there's always a way. There's always something you can do. There's always, if you allow yourself not to be emotional, not to get caught and pulled into negativity that's in the news and that your coworkers are talking about, or that your neighbors are talking about. If you just don't allow yourself to get sucked into that, okay, and you focus on what you want, begin to create a future that you'd like to see, then you can escape that anger and not get pulled into it, okay? So I hope that was helpful for you. If it was helpful, then definitely share the video. And I would like to encourage you, if you really just feel stressed out, like you can't, it's like, yeah, Crystal, I know what you're talking about with the anger, but you know what? These people getting on my nerves, and I know what you're saying about, creating some reality, but I can't even think straight to even be dealing with that, okay? Then I'm going to tell you that if you need some help to not be stressed out, there's supplements that can help you. I sell supplements that can help your body to not react as strongly to the stress as you may be reacting. But the key is that's in parallel to you, whatever you need to do. You probably need to meditate. Whatever you need to do to release that stress, you can partner with it, have a supplement to partner with you to kind of even out the effect, but you still have to make the change in your mind. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. If it's helpful, then definitely share the video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!